Welcome back to the Rob Skinner Podcast. My goal is to inspire you to live a no-regrets life, to make this life count, and to multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Today I'm going to read Chapter 12 of my book, Courage, How to Make This Life Count. Thank you so much for listening week by week, and if you're enjoying it, please order it on Amazon and tell your friends about it. Before we get into this week's episode, I wanted to remind you about a new church planting that's going on. The churches in Arizona are working together to plant a church in Flagstaff, Arizona in the summer of 2021. I've been asked to form the team and train its leader. There's a group of 12 disciples currently living in Flagstaff right now, and my goal is to form a team of at least 15 more disciples to double that mission outpost. Flagstaff is in northern Arizona and has 139,000 people in the metro area. Unlike southern Arizona, it's forested at an elevation of 7,000 feet. It's near the Grand Canyon, skiing, and all sorts of outdoor activities. I'm looking for people who are willing to move there. Specifically, short and long-term missionaries, summer missionaries, 1- and 2-year missionaries, and families willing to relocate to one of the most beautiful areas of the United States. With the rise of COVID and remote work, this would be a great opportunity for a family to go on a mission, or perhaps a retired couple or soon to retire couple. I'm also looking to hire a couple to lead the planting. That couple would move first to Tucson immediately for personal training with Pam and me. I'm looking specifically for a young couple, married, engaged, or dating, who have graduated from college. They don't have to have previous church leadership experience. Pam and I would walk with them and prepare them to lead a planting with solid growth. Pam and I plan on helping the team get off the ground for 1 to 3 months next summer. If you're interested in being a part of an exciting mission team or leading the team yourself, please contact me by email at rob@tucsonchurchofchrist.org, or you can go to my website, robskinner.com, or through Facebook. This is a direct way to make this life count and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Even if you can't join the team, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please spread the word. Talk to your friends about it. Let people know. There are a lot of people that would love to go on a mission team. They just don't hear about it. And please let me know someone you think would be a great leader or team member. I've already had help from listeners to guide me to people interested in going on the mission team, and I've already had 3 people contact me who want to go. So I really appreciate your support. It makes all the difference. Let's get into Chapter 12, The Courage to Hang On. A hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is brave 5 minutes longer. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Beaten, bloody, and left for dead, Captain America wills himself to stand one more time. Thanos has just pounded him into submission. Captain America is fighting way above his weight class. No one else is left. Thor is down. Iron Man knocked out. Captain America looks up and sees the endless hordes of Thanos' army forming ranks across the valley from him. He's the last man standing. He looks at his shield arm. Thanos broke it. Captain America grabs the leather strap and cinches it up tight to his broken arm. He grits his bloody teeth and grunts with pain. He resolutely limps toward the battle line. One man versus an army. No exit, no fear. This scene from Avengers: Infinity War's Endgame never fails to make me well up with emotion. There's something inexpressibly powerful and beautiful when someone decides to hang on when others would quit. Nathan Eovaldi refused to quit in the 2018 Baseball World Series between the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Eovaldi was the scheduled starter for Game 4 when his manager called him in to break an extra inning tie in the 12th inning. He ended up pitching until the 18th inning. He threw 36 more pitches than the starting pitcher. The game dragged on for over 7 hours, and Eovaldi kept coming to the mound. Finally, a Dodgers batter connected with a homer that ended the game. Eovaldi, who has undergone 2 Tommy John elbow surgeries, lost the game, but won the respect of those who value the courage to hang on. Jesus values courage that hangs on. He understood the temptation to quit when things get tough. For many others, the overwhelming spread of evil will do them in, nothing left of their love but a mound of ashes. Stay with it. That's what God requires. Stay with it to the end. You won't be sorry, and you'll be saved. Matthew 24:12-14, Message version. Jesus predicted that the love of most people would grow cold. Most people will drop out in the long march to heaven. I read a statistic that once said 50% of those who decide to follow Christ are no longer in church 8 weeks later. It takes courage to follow Jesus. Not the type of courage that's willing to quote unquote take a bullet for Jesus. It's the courage to stay with it to the end. We don't often categorize perseverance as a subset of courage, but the ability to get up again after you've been knocked down over and over again reveals a heart of courage. Mary Zella Snyder has the courage to hang on. Well into her 80s, Zella joined our church planting at the beginning. She had been living in Tucson since the 60s. She attended a number of iterations of our church throughout the years. Her husband was not a Christian, and yet Zella raised both her son and daughter to be strong disciples of Christ. She's still reaching out, always seeking God, constantly encouraging others. Her courage to hang on inspires me and many others. Not gifted with speed or strength, I've always gravitated towards sports that required a different skill set. High school coaches cut me from the basketball team and the baseball team. The only team I quote-unquote made was wrestling. Why? Well, it was so desperate for athletes it didn't cut anyone. During my freshman year of high school, I was 6 feet tall and wrestled in the 138-pound weight class. I was known as Old Skin and Bones, Noodle Man, and the more common go-to, Skinny. Wrestling gifted me with one lesson, the importance of hanging on. Many a time I was on my back, arching so that my shoulder blades wouldn't touch the mat and get pinned. My coach would be yelling, "Hang on, Skinner, 10 more seconds." Einstein's theory of time's relativity is never more apparent than when you're wrestling. From the spectator's perspective, 3 2-minute rounds seems extremely short. From the wrestler's view, going all out for 6 minutes seems like 60 minutes. Often the winner is simply the one who's willing to hang on a little longer. Since high school, I've gravitated toward activities that demanded perseverance. I fasted on water alone for 18 days while in college. I ran a marathon at the age of 38. I qualified for the quote-unquote Iron Butt Association by riding my motorcycle from Tucson, Arizona to Red Bluff, California, a distance of 1,003 miles in under 24 hours. I started at 8 a.m. and arrived in Red Bluff at 4:30 a.m. the next day. I was going to go all the way to Ashland, Oregon, but when the brake lights on the trucks up ahead started to blur and shift, I figured it might be a good time to call it for the day. Wrestling's gift of quote-unquote hanging on has been a lifelong blessing to me. You may not be the type to lead the attack, to be out front and be the showy, courageous type, but the courage to hang on is one that Jesus says is vital to make it all the way to heaven. It's good to evaluate your grit and determination. Do you push yourself to hold on when things get boring and tedious? Do you force yourself to fix a relationship when it's broken or stop producing those initial feelings of love? Do you keep plodding through the plateaus of learning new skills when it feels like you're making no progress at all? Do you hang on to your relationship with God when your passion has diminished? Gut check. Get back on your feet and head back into battle. Anything worthwhile in this life demands the courage to hang on through tough times, recommit, retool, and get the help you need to finish what you started. Thank you so much for listening today. If you're enjoying this book or would like to tell your friends about it, you can find it on Amazon. Simply type in Rob Skinner and you'll find both this book and my first book, How to Plant and Grow a Church. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please hit the subscribe button and let your friends and family know about it. My goal is to inspire you and as many other people as possible to make this life count, live a no regrets life, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Have a great day. and make this life count.